Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. My name is Luis Soberon. I'm here on behalf of Texas 2036. Very happy to support HB 4966. So the reason that Texas 2036 is even engaged in this kind of issue is because we recognize that public trust in law enforcement is a public safety strategy. In other words, the confidence that members of the public all across Texas have in their local law enforcement is key to keeping them safe. We also know that it just takes one bad actor to spoil the bunch and one bad actor to jeopardize that earned trust that most honorable men and women have gained in serving as law enforcement officers. One of the things that Chairman King mentioned in his layout is that over the past decade, thousands of officers who were fired with a general or dishonorable discharge were subsequently rehired at another law enforcement agency. That comes from reporting that we did last year. We published a 100-page report looking at this and other data questions at TCOL, and let me tell you, it was difficult to figure this stuff out because currently there is no good transparency, no real systemic data collection on wandering officers. We have research from Florida showing that officers who get fired and subsequently rehired are more likely to engage in misconduct again, more likely to elicit complaints from the public. That's only 3% of the officer population in Florida, but has an outsized role, an outsized impact in the confidence that people have in the men and women that serve them. As you also heard Chairman King say, this is a bill that is going to replace our F5 system with neutral, basic reasons for separation as opposed to the loaded honorable, general, dishonorable categories, and standardized personnel files across all 2,700 agencies we have in Texas. I'm happy to answer any questions about that 100-page report, and I appreciate your time.
Members, any questions? Yes, Representative Goodwin.
Thank you. Thank you. So it sounds like y'all did a lot of research with that 100-page report, and you said that it was hard to find how many police officers we have that are leaving one force and going to another, but what did you come up with? Were you able to find some of those numbers? Can you provide some of the data that you found and put in that report?
Absolutely. So one of the things that should have been handed out to members on the committee on the reverse of this one-pager is some of that data that we were able to find. Part of the challenge is that currently there are confidentiality rules about what box is checked on the F5 form. But working collaboratively with TCOL, I saw some of them here today. They were really helpful in working through some of those challenges to produce these aggregate numbers. We were able to see that it was about 1,400 dishonorably discharged peace officers that found new work over the past decade. If you look at the general discharge, that is officers who left because of a performance problem or a disciplinary investigation, that number's over 6,000 or 7,000. I'll get back to you about that. In any event, it's a big number. And when trying to figure out how we could kind of characterize where are these officers going, largely they are going to agencies that are smaller in the more sparsely populated parts of the state. It's agencies that may not have the resources for a robust applicant pool, but again, part of the challenge of our current system is that our dishonorable discharges, under the law as it's currently written, that is for any officer that is fired for insubordination, untruthfulness, or criminal misconduct. So if you look, for example, let's take Coffee City, Texas, which is on that chart. I don't think Coffee City is represented on the dais, so I can safely discuss. Of those officers who are rehired, I can't distinguish between the officer who left because a chief had a bone to pick and fired him for insubordinate backtalk versus the officer who was fired for serious criminal misconduct and later got a job. So our current reporting system is not working very well, shrouded in confidentiality, and it makes it hard for us to, much less replicate the study from Florida, but draw real good policy solutions surrounding what to do. So that's one of the things I think this bill really represents is a step forward, modeling what a lot of states do in how they report officer separations, neutral, simple categories for how they leave, and a little bit more transparency in what the nature of that separation was.
Thank you.
Members, any other questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.